Hi, everybody. David Essel here. Once again, just giving you some thoughts on video. I want to talk today about one of the most prevalent mental challenges that people around the world are going through, and that's depression. It's huge. I'm one of those many people that struggled for over 30 years with depression, not even knowing I had depression. And I'm a freaking counselor. That's how difficult it can be for us to self-diagnose. But I don't want you to self-diagnose. So today I'm going to talk to you about some of the origins and some of the solutions for depression. And some of the solutions are so simple, we don't think of them. And the origins may be a little confusing as well. Number one, first of all, in regards to genetics, we still have not found a complete intact gene, one gene that we can say this causes depression. So when we say that my depression is genetically linked, it may not be at all. So what it might be is environmentally linked. If you were raised with a mom, dad, brother, sister, aunt, uncle, grandmother, grandfather who was always depressed and had no problem saying how they were always depressed, you may have taken on their energy as a role model, them being the role model to you. And so you might have maybe a negative Nelly type of an attitude. You may always say that I feel so depressed again. It may not be genetically related at all. It could just be something we pick up from the family, the core family. The same thing with overeating and over drinking and smoking. So much of that comes from the core family. So that's number one in regards to an origin, and it might be the most prevalent of all. Number two is going to be submerged anger, resentment, anger, rage, resentment, anger, rage, resentment. It seems to be one of the biggest keys to depression is when we submerge anger and rage, then it's going to come out in some way, and depression is one of the most frequent ways it comes out. A trauma in childhood, absolutely one of the causes of depression. Addiction, a huge cause of depression. We look at something like alcohol, which is a depressant. So you're in a bad mood or you're in a bad clinical depressed state, and we take in our drugs and they just further. Of course, at first self-medication feels great, right? I did it for 30 years. And then when we take it away, we start to really feel the depression. Or when the hangover comes on, we feel the depression. So, that's something. Who we hang around with, a huge factor in the role of depression. If you're hanging around with people that are victims and gossipers and always have something negative to say, well, it's really hard to keep a really high mental attitude when you're surrounded by those people. Now, these are just a few of the many causes of depression. Also, we have contraindication from medicine. You may have a pharmaceutical drug, and one of the side effects could be a depressed feeling. Or maybe it's contraindicated with another medication you're taking, and the two together create a depressed feeling. So there's all kinds of origins of depression. Now, the very first thing in regards to healing is we've got to admit that we're in a depressed state. Not necessarily saying I am a depressed person as much as I am going through a depressed state. I think at first to be able to recognize it and to say it, a loss of interest in sex could be a huge sign of depression. A loss of interest in hobbies, a loss of interest in friendships, a loss of interest in those things that you used to really get excited about, maybe going to the movies or something like that. So a loss of interest can be a huge sign of depression. And then let's go to some cures. I mean, right off the top, we have what I mentioned about earlier. Who are you hanging around with? If you're hanging around with people that are pulling you down, we've got to make some changes there. Number two, if alcohol or any kind of a drug is involved, even food, if you use sugar or salt or white flour to numb your emotions, you're struggling with that food addiction, that's emotionally based, and that can create shame and guilt, which create depression, right? So there's so many things. Now, going back to cures, something I love is cognitive behavioral therapy. Go to YouTube, Google David Essel, cognitive behavioral therapy. You'll see me snapping this band a lot. We take you through the stages on how to get through when you have that instant feeling of depression. Also, what about meditation, exercise, leaving so many endorphins in the brain, eating regularly. Now, I know there's a lot of people that are fans of intermittent fasting, and if you're doing intermittent fasting and it doesn't bring on any kind of low energy or irritability or high judgment at some time in the afternoon, keep doing it. But otherwise, if we don't eat regularly enough and we go into irritability, anger, impatience, etc., it could be blood sugar levels, could be creating your depression as well. Working in a position you can't stand is one of the quickest ways to start to develop more of a depressed mindset. Staying in a relationship which is horrendous and you're not doing anything to change it can create deep depression. So again, to break out, get out in fresh air, exercise, do cognitive behavioral therapy, work with a counselor therapist, watch how frequently you eat, make sure you're eating healthy foods, right? So this is just a little starting point. You know, mental health is everything to me because every challenge we go through in life has a mental health component. Our work now is to try to get all this information out there to put damage into the way that this pandemic has affected our mental health in such horrendous ways. If I can help you at all, oh my God, and comment below if you have anything else to say that I didn't add here in regards to origins or solutions. Definitely comment, especially solutions, right? If you found something that works perfectly for you. I forgot to mention DLPA, D-L-phenylalanine, a great amino acid for depression. As long as you're not on antidepressant or anti-anxiety medications, you can pretty much take DLPA. Google it and make sure it's safe for you. But I want you to really know that if you need help, reach out to me. Comment below and then reach out to me. We work with people from all over the world. We have for 43 years doing this work that I love. Since I've gone through serious depression, I had a failed suicide attempt in 1990. I am the perfect person to help work with you. Or also, we have our brand new free program, Helping Americans Heal. Go to talkdavid.com or davidessel.com. You can join that, and every Monday you'll get an uplifting video, article, different tools for you to lift your life to the highest level possible. And then last, if you want to be part of the solution to this mental health challenge, you can join our Mental Health and Master Life Coach certification. It's only $150 a month. And you can start to become certified to help other people heal. Okay, I'm David Essel. Everything is at talkdavid.com. Have the most amazing day.